All right. Good evening. Good evening. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live, Jody, from Mott Branch Library, to talk about the things that we've done last week, to process some of the things that we're doing right now, and a few things that's coming up in the future. What we're going to do right now is play our short intro video. That way you can like, share, and comment. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world, with the exception of 9. That's power right there, if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base, and at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. Our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast weekend review, where we come to you live from Mott Branch Library. Let's go ahead, get into some introductions. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Jabril Bey and Mike Leonardi. Man, look, it was 10 years ago that they had the idea of community solidarity, and that meant that anyone could speak truth to power. It mattered not if they were a pastor, preacher, politician, or a professional. All you needed to do is have a megaphone, or what is that, a bullhorn, and some facts, and hey, you could get it in. And here we are, 10 years later, still doing it. Man, what am I wearing today? Hey, it's a special day, all right, man. From guest to guest, we putting it in today. I've got on my Gaza University sweatshirt today. Man, I saw this shirt being advertised on Facebook. It was kind of a funny video because there was a Karen that seemed like she was upset with somebody, and then they turned the camera to this brother that was wearing this sweatshirt, drinking a cup of coffee. I've got on my white hat. I've got my beads on today. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. And we're doing this for the activist culture and protest community. Jody, look, I really want to move this along. So if you could give your intro, what are you wearing, which is your own gear, all right? And then we'll move right to our mission statement, come back with our special guests, and then our other special guests. And we'll be wrapping it up with 5 minutes of heat today. You ready?
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. As Brother Washington said, 10 years working on 11. We thank all of our guests that join us each and every single week, because you could be anywhere else watching any other podcast in the world, but you chose to watch ours or rewatch ours.
Yeah, that's right.
We know around this time, this would be, going out doing family stuff. I believe most of the kids are out of school. Some of them still getting out of school, so summer activities and stuff. And we want you to pay attention to that road. It's a little drizzly here in Toledo right now. That's
right.
But, we want you to pay attention to that road, not be on your phone or tablet, text and stuff like that. But come back, watch us later on. We are on YouTube and we are on Spotify. So the reason why we describe ourselves, which I'm about to do in a minute, so that you actually know who you're listening to. There's a lot of stuff in the world, be it AI generated or just fake news or just somebody angry about what's going on, and no real content beyond that. And we want you to know that when we speak on these issues, we live in our communities, we support our communities, we fund our communities, we are our communities, not just some random person trying to look for ambulance chasing and stuff like that. So I am a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and bones and stones and artifacts from doing this the last decade, writing books, doing poetry, films, community organizations, taking an elected official position when I just started off as a crazy guy on the corner with a bullhorn. And now I do this. The things that I'm wearing, of course, is my Care Bear gear, or art hoodies, as they're affectionately known, come in 48 different designs, 22 colors, sizes from small to 5X with an inspirational quote on the back, or your logo on the back if you want it. So this is actually the cover of my last book. The new book just came out last Friday. So number 23 is on the works. You'll be seeing book signings and stuff at the libraries. And then, of course, my hat, which I do sell too, the crystals, which I do sell too, but this isn't stuff you can get online. You actually have to contact me directly, unless you want to go on Amazon, pick up my book, Childhood Trauma Series, Tears of the Wounded. That's all my shameless plug and stuff. How do you get to this point when everything's going on in the world? Mexicans hitting Brooklyn Bridge. No, I'm just playing.
Now we're getting canceled. That's all right. We were canceled last week and we came back anyway. All right. It's all good.
But how do you get along with everything that's going in the world? The reality of it is the stuff that's going on in Gaza, the stuff that's going on in Ukraine, the everything that's going on with people fighting for resources and oligarchs that kind of say they're, helping people, but really stuffing their coffers.
They ain't helping. They ain't helping.
All right. Just causing more trauma and pain and tragedies and stuff for you to fear, but never fear, because people like us are the ones that are on the ground. And, we may not be as popular as your celebrity, but your celebrity isn't going to get out there and sit with people who are homeless or sit with people who are, broken for
That's
one
right.
reason or another, and we do. So this is how you kind of get to that. If you ever are involved in an organization, whether it be an activist one or you want to set up a lemonade stand, because family can be who, and people will come at you with all kinds of ideas. So you need a foundation and
our guiding principles,
which kind of keeps you grounded. So
Yeah.
when me and Brother Washington are in these seats no more, a decade, maybe 2 decades, maybe 3 decades from now, they'll still have a foundation of why we built this, why we sacrificed our time, our blood, our sweat, our tears, our privacy
Yeah.
for justice to happen. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, yes, most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable, yes, accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
All right. And before we take a short break and come back with our brother Amjad, Amjad was at the protest in 2014 downtown at the Common Pleas Court. And if you go to our YouTube picture board is a picture of everybody that stayed behind. All right, when everybody left, I left for the library to kind of get the library set up so that once everybody come in, we'll have a space to debrief. So man, we got an OG with us today.
That we do.
Hey, listen, let's take a short break. We'll be right back. This is the CSRN, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
Canal.
En esta hermosísima ciudad de Orlando.
I'm here in Barranquilla, Colombia, and in sunny Miami. Daytona Beach, mis amigos, that's where we're at today.
Desde la ciudad de Cartagena, Colombia.
We are in Orlando right now, here in Florida.
I'm Helene Sheets, Director of Marketing and Communications at beautiful Lourdes University, and we've been a proud sponsor and supporter of Voces Latinas TV for over a decade. It has been a fantastic partnership. It's been our doorway into the Latino community. We've met so many incredible people, created so many partnerships. Our students absolutely love the connections we've made through Voces Latinas TV, and we're looking forward to at least another decade, 2 decades.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review, man, family. Man, today is a special day. I cannot be happier about our lineup today. And as always with CSRN culture and all of our tradition, we always ask our guests, even though we may know him, Jody, all right? We always ask our guests, who are you? What are you wearing? And what are we talking about today?
Well, hello, everybody. I'm glad to be on this show. My name is Amjad Doumani, and I am the founder of the Media Decompression Collective, and we'll get to more of that later. But right now, I am wearing a Free Palestine cap right under my headphones, and I'm also wearing what's called a kafia, which is a Palestinian scarf. It's a symbol of resistance and liberation. And I'm also wearing a hoodie sweatshirt that has the map of Palestine embroidered on it. And it's embroidered in a particular style that's called tatriz. It's an Arabic word for like kind of crocheting that's done throughout different Palestinian villages, hundreds of them, and these villages all have their own style. So that's pretty much it.
All right. So something's happening later on this month, and I participated with you. Was that last year with the Palestinian Film Festival? And you showed a series of films that was highlighting Palestine and gave everybody a great education in what it was before and what's happening now. So what's happening later on this month?
So on Sunday, May 25th at 4:00, we are premiering the only area screening of No Other Land. That's the name of a Palestinian documentary film that is so good that it won the 2025 Academy Award Oscar for Best Documentary Film. Now, what's interesting about the film, aside from its subject matter, which we'll get into a little bit later, but
all right,
aside from its subject matter, is that before it was an Oscar contender, obviously before it actually won the Oscar, but even after it won the Oscar, the established distribution network that throughout the United States that distributes films to cinemas throughout each state refused to distribute it. And they refused to distribute it because they didn't want the Palestinian narrative to get out there to the mass public. This is in the midst of a genocide that is going on that the mainstream media is also ignoring and not putting on TV or misrepresenting what's going on. But nevertheless, people are seeing it on their social media platform where the mainstream media and the powers that be have not been able to control the narrative. But No Other Land thus fell into the hands of groups and other activist individuals who thought it was important to show this film. And we are the alternative network to the commercial network that refused it.
All right. So that brings up the Media Decompression Collective. When was that formed? And what is it about MDC that drives it to show films like this?
The Media Decompression Collective was formed in 2003. We did a film festival at that time. It was coming up on, in 2004, it was coming up on the election for between George W. Bush and Barack Obama. the time, and we organized a festival called Take Back Democracy Film Festival, where we showed over 20 films in 20 different locations throughout the city of Toledo, surrounding communities, and as far as Bowling Green and so forth. And ever since then, the Media Decompression Collective has been showing films at different locations, and culminating in the last year in the Toledo, the first ever Toledo Palestine Film Festival.
Right. And I was happy to be able to participate in that. And for those who may not know who we are, I think my first encounter with you was at Downtown Latte, and you were premiering and showing Loose Change.
That's correct. That's a film about the truth behind what happened at 9/11.
All right. So, man, for you, why Palestine and why you? You could easily just not say anything and fade into the woodwork. So I'm sure other people are asking you this. Why don't you just go away? All right.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question, because sometimes when you're part of an oppressed people, a part of you wishes you could go away and get away from all the oppression.
Yeah.
But, if you're an oppressed person in a country, they chase you wherever you are, so you can't get away. So you have either a choice to just censor yourself or be outspoken. I chose to be outspoken. I'm a Palestinian. My father's Palestinian. He and his father were ethnically cleansed off the land in 1948. We ended up in Lebanon, where I was born and raised until I was 12 and came here to the United States. Now, when we came here, so this is two parts to my awakening, political awakening.
All right.
That was my history with my people. And I knew about the Palestinian struggle before I moved to the U.S. in 1970. And but another part of my awakening is when I moved here, I lived in the north end of Toledo, and I lived in a project. I lived in what's called the Northwood Apartments.
Yeah, we know where those are.
Yep.
Yes,
They've
sir.
changed names, but they're low-cost housing, subsidized housing.
Right.
And our family lived there, and consequently, there were a lot of different ethnicities in that neighborhood. Arabs, African Americans, Mexicans, and so forth. And growing up around them, I saw the discrimination that I faced in grade school and high school from other white people picking on me because my name was Amjad, not Andy or not Joe.
Yeah.
And that's the same experience that a lot of us people of color can relate to. So that was like my second awakening. First awakening was recognizing Palestine. Second awakening was recognizing the solidarity and the common experience I shared with people of color here in the United States.
All right. My next question is, how have you been received in showing films like this? There were other films that you showed last year for the Palestinian Film Festival, and then going back showing films like Loose Change, and just being and also being a part of what we've been doing for the last 10 years. How have you been received in the community for a lot of the work that you've done?
That's a great question as well. There has been broad extremes of how we've been received. I think overall, the general public, the people of the street, are hungry for real news, for real.
Yeah.
They know that the commercial media is not really spinning everything, not telling them the whole truth.
Right.
And so they're hungry for it. So we've been received very well by the general public. However, there are institutions that are entrenched that don't like what we're doing and want to try to silence us. For example, the Media Decompression Collective not only shows films, but we bring in speakers and so on and so forth. So as an example, one time we were bringing in speakers from Palestine, and we were trying to hold it at a particular church. Then the church would get a call from the Jewish Federation behind the scenes telling them not to do it.
Not to do it.
Not to do it. And they wouldn't do it. And so they'd call and cancel on us at the last minute. We sometimes had to look to 2-3 different places before we found a spot where we could do that. But there are brave people who will take a stand along with us, and the people in general are very receptive to our message.
All right. This is just a little bit off the subject. I've also seen you. Let's see. Old West End Festival is coming up.
That's correct.
And you have a vinyl collection that's to be envied by everyone that's old enough to remember vinyl. I don't know if the brother that we have coming up next understands that, but what is Bebop Records, and how did it come to be, and how did it become so huge?
Well, when I've been into music all my life, I remember the first records I received when I was a little boy in Lebanon, growing up in Lebanon. So when I came to the United States at the age of 12, my music appetite grew and grew, and there was a lot more records available to me here. So it basically was a hobby. I started buying records. That was the medium back in the 70s. And I liked it so much that I started putting in ads in the Toledo Blade to buy collections from people.
Whoa, okay.
And people would sell me their collections, and I'd be listening to so much music just for my own self-gratification. But then eventually I started ending up with a whole big pile of records I didn't like. And I said to myself, what am I going to do with those? So I found out about record conventions. I set up at those, and I was able to make money from music I no longer wanted and buy more music with it, until that whole thing turned into eventually a record store called Bebop Records. I opened that in 1987, and that ran straight through till 1994. And then after that, I closed and we went strictly online, which I'm still online and running the business.
Now, can people expect to see you at the Old West End Festival?
That's correct. I'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Man, there's a lot of streets. What street can we expect it?
Yeah, I've been at the same location for years now. I'm on Robinwood, just one house in from the corner of Robinwood and Delaware. So you can find us there if you're familiar with the Old West End. If not, just ask around when you get to the Old West End Festival. Bebop Records is pretty well known in the city. We've been here since 1987, and people know where I set up at.
All right. I've got a couple other questions, and then we're going to get out of here. All right. Can you tell us what to expect about No Other Land? I see the co-sponsors, AMP of Toledo, the American Muslims for Palestine, the Students for
Justice in Palestine,
and the Northwest Ohio Peace Coalition. Jody, why didn't CSRN get on their flyer? All right, heads are gonna roll, but we're here. But we're here now, man. We're here. Yeah. We're here right now. All right, doing it. So, how did this come about? Tell us about the co-sponsors and how are they so courageous, and what can everybody expect out of this film, along with the panel discussion?
That's correct. Well, first of all, let me say that I apologize for not having CSRN on here, but they are definitely a co-sponsor of this, because here I am representing the Media Decompression Collective, and thanks to you, we're able to get the word out. Let me tell them a little bit. Again, The No Other Land is the Academy Award-winning film. It takes place in the West Bank, in the region of Masafer Yatta, which is a collection of villages, and where the Israeli army now for years has been daily having armed incursions in there, where they come in with bulldozers, armored vehicles and tanks, and they destroy the Palestinians' home, kick them off their land in the hopes of emptying the villages and taking them over and filling them with Jewish settlers. But the people are resisting, and they're not letting that happen. Some are dying in the process, and this is what this film is about, more or less, a period of time in the life of the resistance in the West Bank to such ethnic cleansing that's going on throughout the West Bank and in Gaza.
So it's $10 to get in the door.
It's $10 to get in the door. If you can donate more, great. If you cannot donate $10, you can donate less. Or if you cannot donate anything at all, we're not turning anybody away.
Great.
We appreciate you showing up and being interested in the message. And it starts at 4 o'clock. It is at the Maumee Theater in Maumee. It's 601 Conant Street. And it's an old, nice cinema.
Yeah.
And we will have a panel discussion featuring different experts, lawyers, and activists on the stage to talk about the current situation in Palestine and answer questions about the resistance going on in the U.S. and other places. And then we'll open it up for a Q&A after that.
All right. So this is happening the 28th.
May 25th.
May 25th.
Sunday.
At
4 p.m.
Maumee Theater. All right. Last two questions. All right. So in doing all of this, what do you do for self-care at the end of the day, at the end of the week or the month? What do you do to bring it all in?
Music is my meditation. Music has been a big part of my life. I've always turned to music when I've been feeling down and out. And these days I'm feeling down and out a lot because of what's happening to people in Gaza, especially with the genocide. And I also turn to my children. I have a great relationship with two beautiful children, and they are my lifeline. And being with them gives me inspiration. And also self-care is being amongst brothers and sisters like yourself, and who are fighting the struggle, resisting the establishment on different levels, whatever it may be, and connecting with them because you don't want to be alone in resisting
that's right.
the powers that be.
That's right. Let's give us some shout outs to my brother Ramon Perez. He had checked in. All right. Says that you're speaking the truth, and that's a dynamite ally. Shout out to Yvette Muhammad. She wanted to let us know peace. And my brother, my co-defendant and my accomplice, Jody Summers, for welcoming everybody that comes into our space. And we really appreciate the way that CSRN has created its own platform, whereas we're unbossed, we're unbought. We don't have to send it up the chain or ask anyone if we can have Amjad on and counsel what he says. It is what it is. We said what we said. All right. Lastly, three of the things that you're grateful for, Amjad, what would that be?
First of all, I'm grateful for my family, for their support, especially my children. I'm grateful for the community that has embraced me, and I've embraced it in the struggle. There are many people among the sponsors and CSRN. There are many individuals that have always been supportive within this community. So I'm grateful to them. And I'm grateful for Mother Nature and for God, for giving us this beautiful planet to live on. I hope we do right by it and not destroy it like some of the people intending on doing.
All right. And listen, after Saturday, we want to come back and debrief from the panel discussion. We want to come back and debrief on the audience. I know we'll be looking at the audience to see how they were affected by the film. And I love to see how people are affected by the film and what they learn and what they take away, and then come back on here and talk about it.
Sure. Would love to do that. So I would impress upon everybody listening to please come and see us Sunday, May 25th, this coming Sunday at 4 p.m. at the Maumee Theater, and see the life of Palestinians for yourself, and would love to meet you there.
All right, let's put it right back up there. Somebody put your name right over the title. All right. So remember, family, that's Sunday, May 25th, 4 p.m. at the Maumee Theater. That's right at the corner of Conant and the Trail.
That's correct.
All right.
Yep.
If you go past Conant, you've gone too far. Hey, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with Jody. We're going to come back also with Brother Harold X. We're going to talk about, love ye one another. That's a workshop we're going to be putting on later on this month. Hey, family, this is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Brother Washington.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. The program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call digital edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. Just a reminder, everyone, May 25th, 4 p.m., Maumee Indoor Theater, No Other Land. Join us. It's going to be an excellent representation of truth. And as Amjad said, we are the media now. We are that. Hey, listen, man, look. We've got another dynamite guest. Hey, we're going to just go ahead and bring him in from the green room. We hope that he had all the participated in all the refreshments that we had in there. We had ginger ale, we had fig Newtons, we had those wafers that I get from Dollar Tree. Like buy 5 get 6 free. Hey, listen, as always, Brother Harold, thank you for joining us. And as always, we always ask our guests, who are you? What are you wearing? And what are we talking about today?
I'm just Brother Harold X, Muhammad's Mosque, number 91, Toledo, Ohio. I don't have anything on today, brother. Just a hoodie, some sweats, and a coat. Trying to stay dry and warm. That's it. Underneath this, I do have my unapologetically black T-shirt on. So
see, that's what we get there. You should have led. You should have led with that. All right, you should have led with that.
Yes, sir.
Hey, listen, we want to talk about something that's happening on the 31st of May at the Frederick Douglass Community Center. Let's put the flyer up, Jody, and then we're going to talk about this. All right. It's Love Ye One Another. Can you talk about what this is and why people should be interested in checking this out?
Yes, sir. This is the Nation of Islam, Muhammad Mosque, number 91. This is a program, again, as the flyer says, a day of enlightenment, education, and training. And it's really based on love ye one another, because we want to be able to come together, not just as Muslims, but as Christians, as Hebrew Israelites, as Orthodox Muslims, but the community as a whole. We want to be able to bring the community together. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad in teaching the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, told him to go after all of his people, not just the Muslims, but all of his people. So that's what this program is an attempt to do, to go after all of our people, to deliver to them that message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
All right, so we've got Love Ye One Another. Why that title, and what was it about that title that was like, hey, this is it. This is what it's going to be called. How did that come about?
Again, out of the spirit of going after all of our people and letting them recognize that despite whatever our religious beliefs may be, you know, we as a people need to come together. You know, and I think the most important part of that title is Love Ye One Another is even as I have loved you, because many of us don't know how to love one another. You know, many of us don't even know how to love ourselves. So if we don't know how to love ourselves, we most definitely can't love someone else. So I think the most important part about that is us coming together, learning to love one another in a way that Jesus loved us as well.
Okay, now I do want to point out for all of our viewers that that you do have a Detroit Tigers hat on. All right, I don't know what type of violation that is, but all right, it is what it is.
It's all love. Love ye one another.
We just said all Black Lives Matter. Even Detroit,
right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right, even Detroit hat wearing lives. All right. Hey, listen. How long have the brothers been promoting it, and what type of response have you all received from this?
We started at the pretty much at the beginning of the month. Been pretty much getting a good response, a positive response. A lot of people believe that it's time for some type of program. It's time for us to come together in some type of way and put something together that would help us, as it says, to develop a community, a safe community, where we all can live in peace together, despite whatever our religion or beliefs are.
All right, let's deal with some of the naysayers. What if, you know, I deal with a lot of people. Some of them are bright, some of them are just like me. And some people say, well, how are you going to bring people together of different religions, different walks of life, and not have any arguments? How are you going to do that?
Well, I can't guarantee no arguments, but I don't think that the message and what we're trying to give on this day is anything divisive.
That's right.
I don't think that I think that everything that is given that is offered in this program is out of the spirit of love. Again, I can't control whether or not a person wants to be argumentative or not, but I can control how I respond to that person's behavior. So
all right, that was okay. That checks out. That checks out. Hey,
nice knowledge, right?
We want to bring the flyer back up again, and there's 3 things that's on this flyer that's going to be discussed. You've got disaster preparedness, you've got healthy living, and you've got self-defense. All right. Why not dancing? Why not politics? All right. That seemed like the most popular thing on the internet. All right. So why these 3? What was it about these 3 topics that resonated with you and the brothers and sisters that planned this?
The time and the need. You know, we always make the statement the time and what must be done.
Right.
And I think that, you know, we're at a time where we need disaster preparedness. And even if we don't speak from a religious standpoint, if we look at what's going on in the world today from a political standpoint, there's a need for it. If we look at what's going on from the weather, the unusual weather that's taking place around the world, you know, fires in on one side of the country, ice on the other side of the country. So I think that there's a need for disaster preparedness. And from a political standpoint, we are under direct threat. When we had the country of Canada threatening different states in America that if certain tariffs or certain things were done against them, then they would shut off the power to America. And that would be disastrous for a lot of people.
That's right.
So I think that there's a great need for disaster preparedness amongst our people, because I don't think many of us are. We may have a few cans on our shelves. We may have some camp type stuff, but we're not really prepared to have to deal with days, maybe months, or even years on end of living in the dark, of living with no power, no gas, no stores, no means to get food. So these are things that we need to really start thinking. Again, not even from a religious perspective, but we're under a direct threat politically as well.
All right.
And I think, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Hey, we try to keep you as long as we can. The more you on, the more viewers we get. All right. But,
yes, sir.
But I wanted to also talk about, all right, self-defense. Me being a part of the faith business, we always say prayer changes things, but you're offering self-defense. Why self-defense and why now?
Well, I think it's always self-defense. You should always, self-preservation is the first law of nature.
All right, I got you.
You know,
yeah,
you have to be able to know how to defend yourselves. And again, if we look at, the time and what must be done, there's a racial climate in America that cannot be ignored. So in at any given day or time, our women, our children, even ourselves could be attacked, out of any foolishness. And this is being proven daily when we read about mass shootings, mass attacks with vehicles happening throughout America. So I think that we need to learn some level of self-defense. Even on the level of having bullies in school,
right.
None of our children should have to suffer any type of bullying or assault from anybody. They should know how to defend themselves, even if it's just a little bit. So come out and learn how to defend yourself a little
bit. That's right. All right. Well, that's definitely not going to be my part. I'm probably in fact signing you up. All right. Well, I'll let those people do that. All right. But if I'm needed, if I'm needed, all right, sign me up for that.
I know you got it. I know you got it, brother.
All right. Not on camera. All right. Not on camera. Hey, Brother Harold,
yes,
in
sir.
the flyer, it says self-improvement is the basis for community development. Why do you think self-improvement is so important to love ye one another when we're talking about disaster preparedness, we're talking about self-defense, we're talking about healthy living? Why is self-improvement such an important part of this event?
That's a good question. Self-improvement, again, like I said, we can't love another person until we begin to learn how to love ourselves first. So the self-improvement has to be the basis for everything that we do. The disaster preparedness, that's a part of self-improvement. That's a part of making your condition in the future better in spite of disaster. The healthy living, that's self-improvement. The self-defense, all of these things are a part of the self-improvement process. And again, if you don't have a healthy self, you can't have a healthy family. If you don't have a healthy family, then we won't have healthy communities. So self-improvement, it all starts with us. Like Michael Jackson says, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. And that's what we all have to do, look at that man in the mirror.
All right. So before we close out, there's something that we love to ask everyone Well, first, I wanted to ask, man, if we could do this, what time is it? Okay, it's about that time. But all right, how did you become interested in Muhammad's Mosque number 91? How did you become interested in the Nation of Islam and in planning things like that? How, if I could do that in 3 minutes or less, how did that come about for you?
How did I become interested in Mosque 91?
Yeah.
It started, I guess I could say, my love for the teachings, and wanting to be a part of the Nation of Islam. And I think that it grew just the love for the family, the love for the brothers and sisters. And it's really from that love, you know, that frequency that we function from. Is where this program is coming from. It's from that love, because I think that what we have at 91, at Mosque number 91, the family atmosphere that we have should be experienced by everybody. So I want to let the world know, you know, if that means starting with Toledo, that's
Okay,
where we're
let's
gonna
go.
start it.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
There's two things that we do at CSRN regarding our movement work, social justice, political reform. We talk about self-care, and that's a essential part of what we do. Brother Harold, what do you do to bring it all in? How do you rebalance?
Number one, prayer. Number one is prayer.
Yes,
then
sir.
I just good conversation is always a balancing tool, and you know, and that's that goes back to the family, to Mosque 91, being able to have high level conversations.
That's awesome.
That helps bring things back, you know, that balance things out. Family time,
yeah,
you know, laughing, and then again alone time.
All right. Brother Harold, all right. And for everybody, if you're watching this, you can see it in the crawler. Love you one another. That's at the Frederick Douglass Community Center at 12 p.m. That's on the 31st, and the Doug is located at 1001 Indiana. Lastly, Brother Harold, 3 things that you're grateful for. What will those 3 things be?
Master Farhad Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Okay, all right. You went for you went for the big guns. Okay, I get you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, we're looking forward to having a dynamite event May 31st, 12 p.m. at the Frederick Douglass Community Center. Brother Harold, would you mind coming back, talking about the event, how the people received it, and also talk about what's next? All right, would you be willing to come back?
Yes, sir. I'm coming in person because I want to meet Brother Jody. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
All right. That's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, brother, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to be pay some bills. We got some sup dates. And then we got 5 minutes of heat.
We do.
Yes, sir.
Brother Harold, anything else before we close out?
Not at all. Just everybody come out, have a good time with us. Everybody bring a friend, and have that friend bring a friend. Thank you.
Right. That's awesome. Hey, family, this is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober-safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Audio Jungle.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. Big shout out to Amjad Doumani. Big shout out to Brother Harold X, Nation of Islam, Muhammad's Master number 91. We've got the No Other Land going on the 25th. We've got Love Ye One Another on the 31st. Be at the Maumee Theater at 4 o'clock. Be at the Doug at 12 p.m. Man, we didn't promote it a lot. That's what's up. And big shout out once again for both of those brothers coming in. Hey, we're going to get into some updates. They're not updates. We're telling you what's up. So we call them updates. All right. Thank you for coining that, Jody. I think that we may have the only updates.
Probably so.
All right. Okay. All right. That's what's up. Hey, what I wanted to do is, what did I want? I wanted to find this, the recent issue of the Final Call newspaper. I don't know if I found it. I think I got it. All right. This week's issue of the Final Call newspaper, there's a picture of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his beautiful wife, Sister Khadija Farrakhan. Last week, we had the 92nd birth anniversary of Minister Farrakhan. And when it comes to Black liberation, our leaders don't last long. All right. They're either murdered or assassinated at a young age, or they're talked about so bad that they move out of the country and they die alone. But I'm going to just read this short clip right here. It says, in a sacred celebration filled with purpose and prayer, family and friends of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, including the iconic Chicago families, community leaders, and Nation of Islam elders joined at the Salam restaurant on the 92nd birth anniversary of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and honor the unwavering strength and grace of his wife, Mother Khadija Farrakhan. And most often, it's always the men that's being highlighted. All right, never at a point we talk about the woman, because it's the woman that really makes that brother who he is. So I want you, if you can, get out this week, get this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. I have no idea why we don't have it in our software. We're going to have to talk to that tech crew, Jody, and find out. Also, shout out to everybody that came by Eden Urban Garden this Sunday. It was an overwhelming attendance, and we'll get some pictures maybe next week to show some of the pictures of everyone that came out and did a great job. Shout out to the Lucas County Action Team. Last Saturday, we invited Josh Williams, state representative of the 44th. Joshua, what did I say?
Josh. I did that too because I was trying to look him up to tag him.
Okay, all right.
I wouldn't pull up a Josh Williams.
Okay, well, I know. Well, I didn't. I know him on a first syllable basis, all right? We know him just as Josh. But our brother Joshua Williams, state representative on District 44, he came through and gave everyone some knowledge on issue 2 and what's allowed, what's not allowed. And we definitely appreciate, definitely appreciate that.
It was a good talk to see him behind all the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, when it comes to our people, Jody, we're not going to allow our former slave masters and their children and the people that love them to define us. You know, nobody's going to tell me about Brother Amjad before I meet him. Nobody's going to tell me about you before I meet you. So let's get out of the habit of having an intercessor in our relationships that will be the messenger for me and the messenger for you, that'll keep us being divided. Let us go to one another and say, hey, listen, Jody, I heard that you got another book coming out. Somebody said you didn't. All right. Hey, Amjad, where's that? The stars and stripes with the corporate logos. Where's that at? I need answers. All right. So let's not allow any intercessor into between our friendships and our allyship. All right. So that's what happened this weekend. So shout out to the Final Call newspaper and having the top art of the front page, a tribute to a divine servant and his beautiful wife. Shout out to Eden Garden and Joshua Williams, state representative, for coming through like a real brother.
Yep.
All right. Jody, do you have anything that you'd like to share what's happening in our community? And then we'll pay some bills, come back with some updates, and get into our 5 minutes of heat.
That I do. I like doing updates and updates too. So updates is stuff that kind of happened already. As I've been doing these since probably 2012 in one form or another, the walk with me and stuff like that. Stuff you get after, you know, it's already happened, but you can look for more things. And then updates are things that are coming on after this week's show. But starting last week, shout out to Elena Hicks. As we were talking about on the show last week, unfortunately, she didn't make it through the finals, but she still made it through the semifinals.
Yeah, that's beating everybody. That's beating everybody.
Connections, people she's going to know. Right. Congratulations on the new baby that's coming.
Okay.
The thing about the registry and stuff and everything like that. So, you know, I'm happy for opportunities like that. Another shining beacon on Toledo versus all the drama and the trauma and stuff that goes on. There's another artist out there that can say, hey, you might need to come and visit the Huntington Center or do a concert with us or something like that, because the R&B jam is coming up soon. But shout out to her. Shout out to Blair Johnson. I went to his fundraiser at the Peacock Wednesday, May 14th. And that was awesome. Side note, and I guess he was on a separate side quest too. He came over to Eden Garden.
That's right.
We were doing a whole bunch
shout out to Blair.
Talk with us. He awesomely promoted some of the jewelry and stuff that I make. So I forget I do so much because, you know, it's in the moment. I don't really have. I need to be here to do this, to get this done. It's just like, hey, this is going on. I want to be here. He's been with us since the very beginning. Actually, when I wrote my first book 10 years ago, I could say he was within the first 100 people to believe in me. And I was still making spiral books. And if you go back through the years,
I remember those. All right.
And look,
what the heck is this? All right.
It's a lot of stuff. And
that will never be a book. All right, here we are.
24 publications, because as I get through this, 23 was my last book Friday. If something else came out, now poets and stuff are asking me, how do you write a book? And I'm like, I posted something. If you can make a post, you can make a book. You can fill out an application. You can sign a contract. If you can do a lot of stuff, you can write a grant and stuff. I've learned bit by bit, piece by piece. I can produce a book in like 2 weeks now. But I'm not trying to, because I want everything to settle, let people absorb it all. Because if you constantly do stuff, you get the identity of me, who everybody knows Jody, but nobody knows Jody. They just know of the things that I've done in my community. And I like that when I'm walking by some rooms that I walked out of, and they're like, oh, there that guy is that does that thing. And we don't know what name he is, but he's always shows up. So Wednesday also, there was the Respect Your Crown. Shout out to Sunkiss, who's also in my next book. That was at the Cold Bar and Grill. I'm not sure on the details. I did hear through the grapevine that it will be every second Wednesday. Just I don't know what the location's going to be. So check the Respect Your Mic page for locations, info, add-in, stuff like that, and what other open mics might be going on. On Thursday, there was an interview with Danetta Carter at 1270 Detroit Avenue. That was a thing with the Voices of Legacy.
Okay.
So if you were able to make that. On Thursday, May 15th, there was the Smoke and Build with the Black Contractors at 2114 West Alexis. Thursday, May 15th, there was the Artist Reception, The Art of Upscaling by Jeff Schofield, 909 Jefferson Avenue. And this was also, which I missed this year. I always miss this year, although I do have a tattoo artist, so I really don't let other people touch my skin. That's the whole reason behind that. But there was the Toledo Tattoo Fest at the Glass City Center. Friday, May 16th was the, I know I'm pronouncing this wrong, but if you made it, it was a piano thing, Rush in the Round at the Toledo Museum of Art, music inspired by art. And then there was also the, I believe this was the Poetry Prize. Nope, that was last week, Poetry Prize. Friday, also May 16th, there was the Strictly R&B at 2 Hippo Way. Shout out to Tracy and everybody over there involved in that. I believe they have the R&B show or the R&B Per Medica thing that we sponsored last year. Fortunately, we won't be sponsoring it this year, but we still will be in attendance. I plan on, if not getting a ticket, probably vending at the event and doing some other stuff. So check out that. That's coming downtown to Promenade Park. I want to say August, maybe July.
I think so.
So that's coming up. Saturday, May 17th, there was the Women of Appalachia project presented by Women Speak. And that was at the Toledo Lucas County Library, the main library downtown. Of course, we had our thing for issue 2. So shout out to Joshua, because I couldn't tag you, and now I know why, because I was paraphrasing and stuff. Joshua Williams, Anton Parks, Malikda with the ACLU, plus she got a hoodie and some other stuff like that. So awesome there. Also, May 17th, there was the Best Greens competition at the Church of Christ in Glass City. And then Sunday, we had what is known as Cat Fest, the event that created me, 2025. 10 years ago, we decided, me and a whole bunch of artists decided to come together for domestic violence and write something for Kat Lambert, who had been murdered by her husband. It was at the time, I was barely anything in. I literally started performing and doing stuff March 23rd, 2015. So come May, I was asked, we were doing in the works about it at D's Delightful Arts. I had 2 pieces on domestic violence. And I took those 2 pieces, expanded them, and wrote 3 more stories. And that was the birth of Tears of the Wounded.
Wow.
First couple of months was amazing. It wasn't even like, oh, I need to find somebody. It was just like, I'm going to do it. It was a sideways book. And by the time I finished printing out the 10 manuscripts to take with me to the event, 2 people had already bought them before they were printed out. And that started my author career, my everything career outside of what I was doing to try and survive. Still trying to survive. I just have a lot of offices and offshoots that take care of things that they need to individually. So shout out to that, and shout out to Eden Garden. I've been resident, I guess, artist for the last couple of years. I'll be posting that up later, mass spam of everything with videos and photos. And it was beautiful, breaking ground with everyone. There were 12 people. I'm not sure if we'll do it any other week, but check with the garden.
That's right.
The deal was if you came and planted in the garden, and then you got to make yourself either a beef eater or a pot that you could paint. If you painted a pot, you got a crystal from me, because I love getting people involved, and people love my crystals. So it's kind of not bribery, but, artery or something like that. Anyway, so that was beautiful. I enjoyed the experience between Cat Fest and there.
Right.
And now we are going to jump into things that you might not know about this week. So first up, hold on. We have, what is this? Wednesday, actually, no. Where is Rob Pastor? So I did want to put that up here. I believe we might have actually the flyer on there.
Let's check and see.
I believe this weekend is Rob Pasker's event. He's doing his, there it is. His campaign fundraiser and opening campaign and everything like that.
Yeah, that's Friday, May 23rd, 7 to 10. And where is this at?
That's going to be at Toll House.
All right, that's what's up.
Which, yes, sometimes my technology fails me because if you just have a flyer and haven't created an event, I do not see it. But his thing is coming up Friday. Also, as I spoke of last week, Smoke and Build, the Black Contractors Edition 2114 is happening again, May 22nd, 6 p.m. So if you wanted to go to that, talk to some contractors,
that's right,
do some networking and building, just like at the Meet the Mic, you could do that there. And next Wednesday, which is the only thing I got on my thing, so I have a free week. It's kind of weird, but I have a free week of not doing much unless somebody calls me and you need me somewhere. I do charge, but is Toledo's 2025 Spring Mixer for Film Toledo. It was a big announcement that we have a show that is being filmed here that's somewhat akin to Office, and that will be us. So if you want to know more about casting and crew and directing and all that stuff, come to the Film Mixer. It's going to be at Wildside downtown, Wednesday, May 28th at 6 p.m.
All right. Let me shout out a couple of people. Of course, we got the election coming up.
Yep.
And we talked about Blair. I think Blair is at large.
Yep. Brittany.
Brittany is at large. All right. City Council. So take a look at Dr. Brittany.
Yes.
Oh, new mom again.
New mom again. She had her twins.
All right. Check out
there it is.
Cassandra McPherson at large City Council. All right. So check her out. Check all of those out, because I think that at one point or another, all of them have come to our aid for something that we were advocating for in the community. So all of them could definitely come to the cookout.
Yep. And the city official, I give out endorsements and stuff. So if you see somebody on the endorsed plaque, that would be one of my official jobs. Since people always ask, what is a ward chair? It's kind of like an alderman if you're in a bigger city. So, we sit around rooms and talk about things that need to get done.
All right. Can I pay some bills and then?
Let's pay some bills.
And if you want to support us, you can support us and follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Listen to us on Spotify, because they're passing out tickets now for anyone that they see driving and they look like they're looking at a phone. It's a $150 fine. All right. Listen to us on Spotify. Subscribe and get your notification on our YouTube. And also soon we're going to be posting on X, formerly known as Twitter, as soon as Jody stops having beef with Elon. All right. If you want to support us via Cash App, it's hashtag CSRN419. PayPal is CSRN419. We do have the Black Lives Matter signs, the yard signs. Come get them now, because summer's about to start popping again, and you can have a fresh, new Black Lives Matter sign in your lawn. Or like we do at Eden Garden, get your Defund the Police sign.
Yep.
Put it right in your garden. I was going to say it scares all the pigs away. But anyway.
Really
hey, okay, all right. Hey, it is what it is, right?
Some extra viewers and shit.
Right. And also log on to YouTube. Type in Community Solidarity Response Network. It will be the last time you type in that long name again, and join up, subscribe to our page, click for the notification. So whenever we get a podcast, we load, whenever we go live on the podcast, you'll be notified. And also we're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. We are far from that, but with your subscription, we'll be even closer. Jody, I think that that does it for paying our bills and letting everyone know that you can get your yard signs, you can support us, and all that you do to support us have helped us every week come to you live with some dynamite guests and keeping this platform for social justice in the activist culture. As of right now, I think that we're ready for 5 minutes of heat. And what 5 minutes of heat is how we close out. And we use creative expression. We don't slam down a gavel. That gives me flashbacks from the 80s. All right. We use creative expression, and 5 minutes of heat comes from the song 5 Minutes of Funk by Houdini back in the early 90s or late 80s. They had that song out, and we kind of flipped it, remixed it, and made it into the way we close out. So Jody, what do you have for us today?
Today we have a piece called Subscribe, which I think whenever I find some time, it might be this week, might be next week, I will be replacing the pinned video on my page of Take a Seat, which was done National Poetry Month, with this one. So I hope you enjoy it. I wanted it to feel basically, a lot of times we click on and see people online and have no idea what their side of the screen looks like. So this is what my side of the screen looks like. And yeah, and my intro, because I never do the intro. I like my intro. Now that it's published in the book, a lot of that stuff, for people that don't know, it's been a couple of years, but
right.
All of those poems and anything that you see now on my page will be going into my next independent publication, which could be anywhere from a year from now to 2 years from now. So everything you're going to hear is going to be stuff that's technically unpublished, but I dare you to try me.
That's right.
So I am an open book, yes, an open book to those that decide to read. 1,000 words, yes, 1,000 words to those that's only caught a glimpse of me. And a lifetime, it's a lifetime to those that can say they were parts of my story. If you are anywhere under the sound of my voice, you are now family. Because on this stage, yes, on this stage is where I share the most vulnerable parts of myself. And I hope, yes, I hope that you hear me. So let's begin. Peace. Subscribe. What happened to people? Where did we go? We don't have conversations anymore. Everything is a trauma bond or triggering in some way. I used to go to my friend's page and see something that happened in their day. And now all I see is short clips from other people's lives. I don't know if you are even you anymore because I don't see you no more. Just advertisement and triggering information that I really don't need to know. But now I'm staring at it in awe because that could be me. It's like people don't even read the terms of service anymore. Just click and instantly apply this filter to whatever might be happening in your real life. So someone will respond and the algorithm will let more of the friends you already have see what you're doing. But if that many people responded to you in person all at once, you would be terrified and overwhelmed with the sight of every waking moment. I feel lost in the connection of others, numb and overstimulated at the same time. But I just received a notification that my viewership is down. And if I applied this many filters, boosted this post, or bought this check that allows me into your exclusive opportunities and posted this many short clips of people abusing humanity of all kinds while my head floats in the corner, desensitized to chat. Which when I first started hearing the term, I thought they were actually talking to someone else because they said it so fast. Chat was a person I thought was Tom. Then I found out that Tom was really just them sitting in front of a blank screen talking to themselves. I might make $1 or $2 and my rent is due. Prices have gone up and I vacation only just to take a viral pic or video of some influencer who I'm almost 90% sure might not even be real by them. Since AI is the thing now has said I should so I do so can be free, and the whole time am in complete remorse because things don't seem to be getting any better. Autocorrect is awesome. Trying to sound human. I hope you got that last bit back there. But our ancestors, the people, before we decided to put ourselves in tiny boxes and pay bills and listen to people that look down on us, but asked for all of us, all of our wealth, didn't have therapists, didn't have health care, which seems more like a life sentence into a death that you might not be able to afford. They had nature and ancestors and long walks and breaking bread with each other and villages that relied on one another, and accountability and making mistakes until you get it right, not letting some generated program that stole from other people's mistakes of getting it right make yours empty. That's what logging on feels like now. So I ask, what happened to people? Where did we all go? Stuck into our own devices, our own personal hells of obsessing over something that can give us nothing back but an empty black hole that is ever hungry and does not know compassion for humanity because it has none. It's only capable of imitating what we feed it. And as we give less and less to ourselves, maybe it does look more like reality. Peace.
And as always, we snap our fingers. Jody, dynamite. Big shout out to Amjad and Brother Harold X for checking in with us today. And as always, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else?
Yeah.
Peace.